Hello, and welcome back to the Longevity Optimization Method. The idea that the human body possesses a remarkable capacity to renew and repair itself is often emphasized in discussions about health, disease, and longevity. Advocates of holistic wellness frequently argue that if we nurture the body with the correct environment, nutrition, and lifestyle practices, its natural healing processes can function optimally. Within this perspective, DNA is portrayed as the central blueprint that guides the ongoing regeneration of virtually every tissue within us. According to this view, understanding how DNA works and what might threaten its structure or function becomes essential to preserving health and preventing disease. The story usually begins with the observation that the human body is in a constant state of renewal. Many types of cells have relatively short lifespans and are replaced regularly. For instance, cells in the eyes are sometimes said to regenerate every day or two, while cells lining the digestive tract may renew themselves within several days. Skin is often described as turning over in about a month, and bones within a few months. Even organs like the liver are known to have some capacity for regeneration. Because of this continual cycle of breakdown and renewal, some commentators conclude that after a couple of years, a person has effectively produced a largely new physical body. Within this framework, DNA is imagined as the essential instruction manual directing this entire rebuilding project, telling each fresh cell exactly how to form and function. From this perspective, when DNA becomes damaged, the body's ability to regenerate properly is believed to falter. Although the body does possess repair enzymes that routinely monitor and correct many genetic errors, some argue that modern life exposes us to so many disruptive influences that the natural repair system becomes overwhelmed. In the worldview presented by Barbara O'Neill and similar wellness educators, the modern rise in chronic illness is attributed to a collection of environmental, nutritional, emotional, and lifestyle factors that allegedly interfere with DNA integrity. The central claim is that if we address these factors, we can restore the body's capacity to heal itself, potentially preventing or even reversing disease. One of the primary causes identified in this approach is the idea of mineral deficiency. It is argued that because the body requires minerals to support cellular processes, enzyme function, structural components, and the general integrity of tissues, insufficient mineral intake leads to compromised DNA structure. Some wellness speakers assert that an overwhelming percentage of genetic damage stems from mineral shortages, though this figure is not supported by mainstream scientific research. Nevertheless, within this alternative model, the emphasis is placed on increasing consumption of mineral-rich foods, particularly dark leafy greens, and especially produce grown in high-quality soil without heavy chemical inputs. The reasoning is that conventional farming practices may reduce mineral content in food, leaving even people who eat plenty of vegetables lacking essential nutrients. The second major factor frequently cited is exposure to chemicals. Advocates of holistic health often argue that modern society is inundated with synthetic substances. Industrial chemicals, agricultural pesticides, household cleaners, artificial additives, pollutants, and pharmaceuticals that impose a burden on the body. They claim that tens of thousands of new chemicals are introduced into the human environment each year, implying that the body cannot adapt or process them efficiently. While it is true that many chemicals can be harmful at high exposures, the claim that all or most modern chemicals inherently damage DNA or that medications merely shift disease from one place to another does not reflect scientific consensus. Nonetheless, within this alternative explanation, reducing chemical exposure by choosing organic foods, minimizing synthetic products, and relying less on pharmaceuticals is encouraged as a way to protect the genetic material that governs cellular health. A third supposed cause of DNA disruption, according to this narrative, is the consumption of genetically modified foods. Some wellness educators assert that because GMO crops are created by combining genetic material from different species, the resulting foods contain compounds unfamiliar to the human body, which they claim may interfere with or damage human DNA. This assertion contradicts extensive scientific research, demonstrating that GMOs currently on the market are no more hazardous than conventionally bred foods. However, within the framework being paraphrased, Genetically modified foods are treated as a significant threat to biological integrity, and people are advised to avoid them entirely. Electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, constitute the fourth commonly cited culprit. In this view, because the human nervous system uses electrical impulses, external electromagnetic frequencies emitted by power lines, electronic devices, and wireless technology are believed to disrupt the body's natural electrical patterns. Some go as far as claiming that EMFs can cause cellular or DNA damage, citing anecdotes such as livestock experiencing health problems under high-voltage transmission lines. Although scientific research does not support the idea that typical household EMF exposure harms DNA or causes disease, the wellness narrative encourages reducing electronic exposure in the bedroom, keeping devices away from the bed, and ensuring that electrical panels are not located directly beside sleeping areas. The argument is that since humans spend roughly a third of their lives sleeping, the sleep environment is crucial to minimizing electromagnetic interference. Stimulants make up the fifth category of alleged DNA stressors. In this perspective, sugar is described not merely as a nutritional concern, but as a substance capable of causing metabolic chaos. Rising rates of diabetes are attributed completely to sugar intake, and sugar is framed as a highly addictive drug that sends blood glucose levels on constant roller coasters. Caffeine is also portrayed as potentially harmful because of its effects on neurotransmitters. According to this argument, frequent consumption of coffee, caffeinated sodas, chocolate, and other stimulants disrupts brain chemistry so consistently that it can supposedly contribute to mental health vulnerabilities in future generations. Tobacco and alcohol are also described as agents that damage cells and DNA, potentially affecting not only the health of current users, but the genetic quality of their children. While smoking and heavy alcohol consumption are indeed harmful and scientifically linked to DNA damage, many of the broader claims in this perspective generalize these effects far beyond established evidence. The sixth factor, emotional states such as anger, is presented through the lens of water-based pseudoscience. Citing the work of Masaru Emoto, whose experiments suggesting that water crystals change shape based on words or music have been widely discredited. This viewpoint argues that anger, violence, and chaos disrupt the molecular structure of water. Since the human body contains a high percentage of water, the argument goes, exposure to negative emotional environments can damage cellular function or even DNA. While emotions do affect stress hormones and overall well-being, there is no scientific evidence that words or music alter water molecules in the way described. However, within the narrative being paraphrased, reducing exposure to anger and cultivating positive emotional environments are depicted as essential steps toward preserving the body's fundamental biological integrity. The final factor highlighted in this framework is exposure to yeast, mold, or fungus. Drawing parallels with the way certain fungi can infect plants, the argument suggests that fungal organisms in the human environment can somehow interfere with genetics or cellular processes. Moldy homes, in particular, are described as environments so biologically disruptive that individuals must leave them in order to heal. Although mold can certainly trigger allergies and respiratory issues, the claim that common household molds splice into human DNA is not supported by medical research. Nonetheless, within this model, avoiding mold, limiting antibiotics, and maintaining balanced microbial ecosystems in the body are presented as central to preventing disease. Having outlined these 7 proposed threats to DNA, the narrative typically shifts to the concept of gut health. The gut microbiome, an ecosystem of trillions of microorganisms that live in the digestive tract, is indeed a well-studied aspect of modern medical science. Many researchers recognize that microbial health influences digestion, immunity, inflammation, and possibly even mood. In alternative health teachings, however, the microbiome is sometimes portrayed as almost singularly responsible for the body's capacity to heal. When beneficial gut bacteria are diminished, the cells lining the intestines are said to lose their primary source of nourishment, making it difficult for the gut wall to regenerate properly. This is used to explain why individuals with chronic gut issues are thought to struggle with healing more broadly. To address these concerns, the narrative recommends probiotics, microbial supplements designed to reintroduce beneficial bacteria into the digestive system. These are often taken before breakfast to maximize their passage through the stomach into the intestines. Additionally, certain herbs such as aloe vera and slippery elm are highlighted for their soothing, mucilage-rich properties. Their slightly gelatinous texture when mixed with water is said to coat and protect the intestinal lining, while also allegedly stimulating rapid cellular regeneration. By alternating these herbs weekly, some claim that the gut receives ongoing support and avoids becoming too accustomed to any single remedy. According to this approach, once the gut lining is repaired and the microbiome restored, the body's overall healing potential is significantly enhanced. In summary, this holistic perspective suggests that by minimizing exposure to mineral-poor foods, synthetic chemicals, genetically modified crops, electromagnetic fields, stimulants, emotional turmoil, and mold, and then by nurturing the gut with probiotics and specific herbs, individuals can create the ideal internal environment for DNA repair. This, in turn, is believed to empower the body to restore itself, strengthen immunity, and potentially reverse disease. Although many aspects of this narrative are not supported by rigorous scientific research, the overarching message emphasizes self-care, nutritional awareness, environmental mindfulness, and an appreciation of the body's natural resilience.